I'll go in the middle.
You go in the middle.
I'll go in the middle. This is exciting. Hi,
Hello.
boys.
Oh, we're working. It's working.
Hiya.
How are you both doing?
God, it's bright in here, isn't it?
Should have got some sunglasses. So how are you both doing? How are you finding obviously home one for you? Liverpool Comic-Con?
It's
Last time I was in Liverpool, I stayed in the Beatles Hotel. I tried to get in the John Lennon suite, but that's over a grab. So I just, ended up at the Ringo Starr little bijou place instead. Very nice, I have to say, very nice.
Okay, so Jeremy Bullock actually gave us a Beatles song before. Do you want to give us a little song? Nah?
Oh, big fan of the Beatles. Huge fan.
You want to give us a song?
What?
You want to sing?
No.
I tried. I really, really did try. So
Look at the Cape Crusader down there, look at him.
Cape Crusader.
You look fantastic.
Big round of applause for the Cape Crusader.
how impressed have you been with the costumes? That's the word that I'm looking for that you've seen
I'm always
today.
impressed with the costumes. In fact, that's really what it's about, isn't it? Coming to these things. I think that's the best bit. And is there going to be a competition as well, like a cosplay competition?
It was today.
It was today?
It was
We missed it.
2, 3 o'clock-ish.
Who won it?
Does anybody know who won?
Is the winner here? Or are they out celebrating somewhere? What won it? What?
Green
Go
Goblin.
The Green Goblin.
Green Goblin won it.
Holy day of obligation, Batman.
Scared them away.
Did I?
How many people do you reckon that you actually made hide behind couches during Doctor Who? Because I know that a lot of my friends used to, as soon as they heard the theme
He
tune,
probably
they
did.
run.
I think you must have done more than me.
What's the question?
How many people do you reckon you made hide behind sofas during your time?
No, I used to have. My favourite Doctor was Tom Baker. When I grew up, I loved him, I have to say. No.
Was he your doctor?
He was my doctor. And yours?
No, mine was the first one, Bill Hartnell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit older than you.
Oh, why did it take so long?
And I thought he was great, Bill Hartnell. And he was like, the weird thing is, I know I'm older now than he was then, but he seemed like about 110, and he had that like white wig, and he was like this scary Victorian, almost like a ghostly figure. He was great, he was terrifying, but there was a sweetness about him as well. I just loved as a kid. And when I was little anyway, well, I still am little, but when I was even littler, there was only 3 channels on the telly anyway, so even if you weren't like a mad fan, you saw, all the kids saw everything. That was on. So we were all fans, I suppose. He was the best one, I think.
Well, we do those books, the Doctor Who books, and you normally do them in London, and this time I had to go to Tunbridge Wells outside, and I wonder, why am I going down to Tunbridge Wells in the middle of nowhere to do this Doctor Who book? And I turned up there, and coming through the door at 10 o'clock in the morning, still in his pajamas, with a cup of coffee, was Tom Baker. We were doing it down there because he lived down the road. It was amazing, quite amazing.
That was his only stipulation when he said, I don't mind doing it, but you got to come to mine.
My manor.
That's what we do it.
That's where we did them, yeah.
That's when you know you're famous, isn't it?
When you turn up on somebody's doorstep and
Yeah, I'll do it, but you got to do it in our house. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. I want to get that famous.
Is it weird for you, Paul, like when people say, oh, who's your favourite Doctor? And you
We've got a
actually
sea
have
view and
been.
everything, look.
Huh?
We've got a sea view.
It is beautiful. This is a beautiful city, isn't it?
Sorry, what was the question?
Is it strange for you, like when, like somebody says, who's your favourite Doctor? And you actually have been a Doctor. Is that weird? Like you think, oh.
Oh my God, I realised I made a faux pas now. We're sitting with a doctor, aren't we? Oh God.
Yeah.
My favourite doctor was Paul McGann. I know that's for a start.
It's too late now. I don't believe him.
Is it a bit strange, like, because people get so fanatical about it, don't they? And like they get really passionate.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. And people love it, don't they? Every now and again, we all do, we all love it, and most people here love it. It's probably the reason why most of us are here, but you're right, every now and again you meet somebody that extra loves it. It's actually a really, can I put this? In fact, they say it, you know, in these lines, even sometimes at the shows. Someone will, and maybe you'll sort of spot them in the line. There might be a young kid, or sometimes an old kid, and they finally come out with it. It's something. It means a hell of a lot to them. You know, they'll say things like, when they eventually get talking to you, they'll say, you know, you changed my life, or you, not you personally, but the show got me through a certain period, or like over the death of my dad, or whatever. You know, there's like, it's connected with, you know, and I'm saying that, and it's not a trite thing, because it really, it's a heartfelt thing. It means a lot to people, and there's something it's something to do maybe with the nature of the stories. Well, it has to be that, but you know, and of course it's not real life, it's fantasy and it's fiction, but it somehow enables people to just revive or connect, or anyway, I went a bit serious there for a minute, didn't I? But the point being that, yeah, for most of us, we can just kind of enjoy it, but for certain people, it means the world, it means a lot, you know, and you have to remember that. Because, you know, if you're a doctor and you're doing these shows and you get to, you know, you can have a laugh and join in the joke, and it's great.
I couldn't believe it, I have to say. So I did this episode of Doctor Who, right? And then suddenly, out of nowhere, comes these invitations to go to these conventions, and I didn't know what. My feet didn't touch the ground. Suddenly, I was in America, I'm in New Zealand, I'm in Australia, all at Doctor Who conventions. And here, it's incredible. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I've been to so many now. It's extraordinary, and thank you. Thank you very much, because you do it. It's why we're here.
It must be amazing to be a part of something that is so brilliant. And from one fantasy to another, if we just jump onto something a little bit different.
Where's this going?
Don't worry, it's not yet.
Yes, I want to hear where it's going.
So we're talking about stuff that gets cult and, you know, fanatical. You have actually played voiced one of the worst poets in the entire galaxy. What was it like to be a part of the film of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Which one are we talking about?
Where you played the Vogon.
Which one?
I can't remember his name. You put me on the spot.
Baron Harkonnen in Dune. Is that what you mean?
With the poetry.
Is that the one you're talking about with the poetry?
This is going really well, isn't it?
It is.
Talk amongst yourselves in a minute while he sorts it out.
Listen, I have to let into you a little secret. I'm completely deaf, so I can't hear what she's saying.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well,
Are we
it's
on your
fine.
bad side?
And listen, when there's a loudspeaker in your ear as well, it's just twice as bad. But that's who you mean, isn't it? Is it Big Baron? Is it the Baron?
Yeah,
the Baron Harkonnen. Yeah, no, listen, I tell you, I was desperate to play that part. I saw the movie with David Lynch and loved it, and the Baron in that, my goodness me. So I was desperate to play it, and when I got it, I was also desperate to play, how are they going to fly me? Because the Baron flies, right? So I kept sending the director these emails saying, how are you going to fly me? And I got no response, no response. And eventually I had to turn up in Prague, which is where we made it, right? I still don't know how I was going to fly. We had 2 or 3 days away till we were filming, and I got sent to this warehouse, a bit like this, only a bit smaller. And in the middle of it was a crane. And on one end was all the weights, on the other end was a bicycle seat, and they said, just sit on the bicycle seat with you. So I did, that was fine. They strapped me up with a harness, and then they lifted me up into the air. It was fantastic. Went all over the place with the wheels underneath, and it was fantastic. Flying, which was great. Came back the next day, there was no bicycle seat, they'd taken it off. I said, what? Why have you done that? And they said, oh, it looks like you're sitting, we've got to have you standing. But we got something instead. And they brought out a racing bicycle seat. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. It's a thin piece of leather. And if you're a big man and you're sitting on one of these, it's hell. It's so painful you wouldn't believe. And luckily, eventually, after I screamed quite a lot, they put some stirrups behind my legs so I could stand on something. And that's how I flew, but that was the Baron. Amazing, amazing time.
Images to conjure with, folks. Take that with you.
Yeah. All those hard-earned
Sleep
bollocks.
well tonight. Yeah.
I just love the image that in my head.
There you go.
So let's move it back to Doctor Who, because I know it got really controversial, and I actually watched an interview with you on, weirdly enough.
I deny all accusations.
Oh, it's a nice one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Lives
Okay.
Women. When they were talking about a female doctor,
Yeah.
and you were very
was in the air, but I just don't know what kept them, really. I know there was talk, 4 or 5 years ago, because we'd mentioned it. You get Moffat saying, well, of course, the Doctor is one character with many faces, and we'd be going, yeah, well, what about a woman's face? And kind of thinking that was 5, 6 years ago. So it was kind of around, it was in the air, but anyway. But now it's happened. I suppose the great thing is we don't have to talk about it anymore. Because it's happened.
People keep on asking about it.
Well, for now. Maybe until, we've seen her on screen. And she was the best actor for the job, simple as that.
Well, she's a terrific actress.
She's a fantastic actor.
She's done some wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Broadchurch, fantastic.
Yeah. And she's going to find, like Capaldi did and like we all did in our turn, that, it's going to take a few months to find your feet with it. It's kind of, when you play the Doctor, even for me, I was only the Doctor for 10 minutes, but because people have done it before and they've done it really well before, it's not like any other acting job that you tend to get. It's got that little bit of pressure, and she'll find that, and then I think where the quality of the writing meets her particular talent, that usually happens. Takes a couple of months, and then she'll be fine.
What was quite interesting about working with Matt Smith, because it was, when I worked with him, it was only the second one he'd ever done, so he was still very new to it. And he had a huge thing to follow. I mean, David Tennant, a big success, and suddenly he's doing it too. And he was incredibly nervous, but incredibly inventive and incredibly charming. And he just tried so many ways. He would try it one way, try another way, try this way, try that. And he just kept on going at it, and his energy level was huge. And Karen Gillan's legs go all the way up, and that's what made me very happy going to work every day.
Nice segue there.
Thank you so much.
Is she aware of this?
What?
Is she aware of the legs
Oh,
going
she is so fit you wouldn't believe. She's gorgeous, absolutely. And so nice to meet her father.
Long enough to be continuous.
So what was it like to play? What was it like to play Winston Churchill?
Winston Churchill, what a boy, eh? What a boy.
He's everywhere, Winston Churchill, at the moment, and he's everywhere now. He's winning Oscars.
Oh, for goodness sake.
You know what I mean?
Why did they go with Gary Oldman? That's what I want to say.
Exactly.
Oh, what a load of bollocks is that, for goodness sake. I could have saved them the fat suit, for good. I could have saved them so much money.
Yeah.
All those hours, 4 hours and makeup, who needs it? Give it to me, I'll go and do it. It's so much better than what he did, I have to say. Listen to that voice droning on and nowhere near Churchill. I've had enough. I better stop now.
It's fine.
But you've got to agree, love, haven't you? Please. It's all very well, put the kettle on, mother, I'm coming home, but please, stay where you are.
There you go.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
Unmediated bitterness by the sea.
Come on, do you want to do us a Winston then? A little impression? No, we'll move on.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
Are you going to ask questions, or are we just
Yeah, I
going to
was
keep
gonna say,
yakking?
Yes, questions from the audience. Come on now.
Sorry, we just got to get the mic down.
William Shakespeare walks into a pub, landlord says, "Get out your bard." So just filling in while
Any questions?
If either of you went back, how do you think your characters would react to Jodie's Doctor?
say that again.
Sorry. If either of you met Jodie's Doctor, how would you react?
Oh, I see. Well, chemically, probably. That's all I'm going to say on the matter.
I'd probably ask her, Winston Churchill, I'd probably say, "Oh dear girl, just hold the clipboard. Where's the real Doctor? Have you seen him by any chance?"
He's lost it.
Hi, Paul.
Hiya.
My question's mainly for Paul.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Oh, sorry, great fan, but you'll understand why. Paul, coming from an acting family of brothers, when you got the role of Doctor Who, was there any jealousy between the other brothers that it was you and not them?
That's a really good question.
There might well have been, but I don't know why, because we never talk about acting. Or we never talk about work in the family. Ever. We decided years ago to stop that kind of thing when we first started. Like even when we shared an agent, we just don't talk about work. So my mum knows what they're doing. I don't even know what they're doing. Any of them at any time is doing, because it just saves time. But also, when I, as you know, I'm sure you know, when I auditioned for the so-called movie 20 odd years ago, Mark did as well. And I didn't know, and he didn't know I did. So, and now I think you can see both of the auditions on YouTube. Because we just didn't speak about it. Anyway, there you go. That's how it works in our house, anyway. It saves egos. Well, look at him. It looks like I'm going to fire him out of a cannon.
There's one with the helmet over here.
Oh, look at that.
Helmet. Can we get a microphone to the helmet?
Can we have a female voice?
Considering you've only really been the Doctor in the movie and a few shorts, would you ever consider returning to do
The
further?
thing is, I consider returning all the while, but as I'm sure that the others, but it's not up to us.
No, you've got to write in, love.
Yeah, it's more like it's up to you. You should probably write in. But that's why, when you watch the Five-ish Doctors and the things that Peter makes, it's all about that syndrome, if you like. We got no control over it whatsoever. We'd all love to be involved. But while it's either, they've either got your attention and you're wrapped, or there's nothing. When I did the, what was it called, that 6-minute short thing, Moffat called me with about 2 weeks to go, and that's usually how it works. It's like, we're starting Monday, are you available, do you want to do it? And that's really how it goes. So even if, like for example, if you ever hear rumours about Doctor Who, oh yeah, I've heard this rumour, discount them, they're never true. It just doesn't work like that. The way things normally go, and Jodie would have found the same thing. She might have been sounded out, but it's like, well, we're starting in 4 weeks. That's how it, for most actors, that's how it usually is. They wait until the 11th hour, find out who's around, who's available. So yes is the answer. We'd all love to come back from time to time, but it's not up to us. There you go.
Can you give the microphone to the helmet there?
Eddie the Eagle.
Oh, hang on.
What is your favourite acting role and why?
Oh, goodness me. Well,
What one you've done yourself, like?
It's a tricky one. Listen, every role. I mean, I'm so lucky to be able to play a Prime Minister one week, and then the next I could play a plumber down in Cornwall.
Have you ever played a girl?
Yes, I played a girl.
What was that like?
I played a girl in the Blackheath Poisonings. I ended up in the bustle at the end of the show. It was a period piece. It was. You can laugh, but I wasn't.
More images to conjure it, folks.
I was in a bustle and a lot of makeup and hair. Anybody seen the Blackheath Poisonings?
No.
You remember me at the end in women's makeup and hair and everything? Absolutely. And
There'll be people YouTubing it right now while you're talking.
Okay, all right. So I have been a girl, but the answer to your question is, I suppose, who knows? I mean, listen, every role is great, my favourite, I'm rambling. You go over now, love. Take it over.
Eugene Rayburn. That's my favourite. But most of you haven't seen it, but just after, in fact, I did the Doctor Who movie.
Yeah.
We did a Dickens adaptation on the telly, and that was the best one I ever heard.
I'm going to say the Monocle Mutineer.
Oh, was it that?
That's it, that's the one. That's what I'm going
That
to say.
wasn't you, that was me. He's claiming that now, listen to
I'm going to say that was his because that's his show and he was brilliant in it, I have to say. You can say something nice about me if you want to. Okay, let's move on quickly. Can you give the microphone to the helmet, please? Oh, he's got it.
I love both your work, by the way. I like you in No Escape, and I like Paul in Alien 3. I just want to know how you felt about a lot of the scenes that they did inside the cut. I want to know how you felt about that.
In the Alien film?
Yeah, in the
But
Alien
that's what happens in movies, particularly big movies, American movies in particular. They shoot 3 movies worth of stuff and then get it down to an hour and a half, 2 hours. And that happened to me a few times actually. I was in a big Spielberg thing as well. 4 months I was on it, and I was in the final thing for 4 minutes. It just happens. Show business. I've never seen Alien 3, but I hear that the version that is David Fincher made himself, is really good. It's made more sense of it. But yeah, good. You do? Oh no, that wasn't for you, was it?
Yeah, no. No Escape, absolutely. I love the movie. Directed by Martin Campbell, who did Edge of Darkness all those years ago, which we did together. And got me over to Australia to do it, so that was lovely to be with him again.
You were
then
Edge of
went on to do
Darkness.
Zorro and GoldenEye, none of which I was in. Sorry. Not bitter.
No. Showbiz is a cruel mistress.
It is, it's a cruel business. Don't get involved in it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lady there.
Would either of you be willing to do the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who?
The 60th anniversary. When is that?
I think that
Is this an offer of work?
no,
Are you an agent?
No, I don't control Doctor Who, unfortunately. But would you either of you be up for it when the
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, we both would straight away. If you can get us in it, we'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm no agent, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No job too small.
No,
Absolutely.
I do think the 8th Doctor was horrifically underused. I think you deserve to be shown more.
Have any of you seen?
I can only agree with that.
Have any of you seen the episode of Jonathan Creek that we were both in?
Come on, you know it makes sense.
Paul McGann and I were in the same episode of Jonathan Creek.
Yeah.
I played a vicar, and what did Paul play?
Come on, that's a quiz.
He was the baddie.
I was a novelist who turned out to be a psycho.
There you go.
I always get psychos, if you noticed, it's great.
Rent it, it's a good view.
Yeah. With Sheridan Smith.
Absolutely, before she became famous.
Yeah. Come on.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Are you nice and warm in that scarf?
It's great.
Who have you got next to you? No, the other side. Wow.
Just a little Star Wars character over here.
Ramesses II.
It's a wonderful outfit. Great makeup too. Thanks. Don't show it to Gary Oldman.
Well, my question is to both of you. Who would you most like to work with and why?
I'll give this one to Paul first.
Well, in a Doctor Who kind of vibe, or?
Anywhere, like anyone.
Eve Miles. Eve Miles. Has anyone seen that thing she's doing at the moment on the telly? It's called Keeping Faith. Has anyone seen it?
Oh, what a load of teeth!
Have a
I
look
tell
at
you, my God.
It's on the iPad. This girl,
Yes.
is a fantastic actor.
She's extraordinary.
She's a brilliant actor.
She is. I just watched it. I actually finished the last bit on the train coming up here.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes. She's phenomenal.
Oh, she's great. No, good.
I think it's on the iPad. She plays. You know, not without the spoiler, you should see it yourselves. But her husband goes missing, and anyway, blah blah blah. She's phenomenally good in it. And I heard, or I read rather, when I read about it, that she was going to give up acting last year. Did you read that? Because she wasn't happy with the part she was getting, and blah blah blah. But this, I don't know. While everyone was talking about the Oscars and while everyone was talking about other things on the telly, this just sneaked out, and it's the best performance I've seen from anyone for ages. She's fat, but you know, of course, you know her from Torchwood. She was in Torchwood, wasn't she? Eve, but phenomenal actress. Anyway, that's my answer. Eve Miles.
No, so who would I like to work with? Well, do you know what? I'd like to. I'm just trying to think who I'd like to work with because I've been so lucky to work with a lot of people. But Eve Miles, I'd like to work with as well. She's very good.
Yeah.
No, seriously, no, I would. Just trying to think of someone else.
Gary Oldman.
Yes. In a heartbeat.
Yeah. Just for a bit of revenge.
A lot of people think we're twins.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, you could play brothers. Yeah,
We could play. I could be, Danny DeVito, Schwarzenegger, couldn't we? We could be twins again. The remake of Twins, absolutely. Get out of that fancy to. Let me have it. Yes.
His ears will be burning now wherever he is. Someone's talking.
I was friggin' good.
Right.
Any other questions?
Another quiz question.
Yes, one here.
I've got a question with Star Wars and Star Trek and all the books and the back series.
Yeah.
The question is with Doctor Who, obviously with being a time traveller and being able to go backwards and forwards, do we not think that gives you a good chance of getting some backfilled movies and storylines to run parallel to the current Doctor Who series?
Blimey. That's a question, isn't it?
There's no reason why it can't be more
No, there
movies,
is no
there?
reason why not, and so that's an answer in itself. There's nothing impossible. But one of the beauty, the luxury of Doctor Who is precisely that. And it was almost like, you know, back in the day, and whenever it was, when Bill Arnold had to stop and Troughton took over, they stumbled on this luxury by accident. You know, Troughton in his way had the hardest job. You know, he had to make it work. The regeneration thing worked. But since then, aside from the bit where they kicked it into touch for 10 years or 20 years, they've, you know, now you can just do whatever you like. Go forwards, go sideways, go backwards, regenerate. You know, you can even dead ones now. You can dig up from the dead. I should probably stop before I get myself in trouble.
Do you know what?
You can even get Gary Oldman in it. Gary Oldman can play.
Leave him. You know what? You know, when I saw myself, because I watch everything I do, when I saw myself as a Winston Churchill talking back to a man with a green face, in that, you know, when they brought Winston back, I thought to myself, you know what? I can come back at any time as Winston. Thank you very much. You've opened up the door. It's true.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
Anything's possible. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. Get back.
One final random question. You're in with Nail and I.
I was in that, yeah.
Now, I don't know if anybody else has thought about this, but have you or anybody out there ever watched With Nail and I and drank when you took a drink?
Well,
Because you are hammered.
You wouldn't be here if you had.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't be here if you had. You'd be a dead person.
There was a challenge at my uni to see if anybody can do it for the
No
whole
one can
film.
do it.
No, not at all.
You wouldn't get past the lighter fluid, would you? The Roncinol. You just wouldn't get past it. You'd have to be a nutcase.
Yeah, I've forgotten. Do you know what? We're with a legend here. With Nail and I, for goodness sake, big round of applause for that, please.
No, you shouldn't have. No, don't stop.
You've both been in some.
You know what the
amazing
weird
things.
thing was? When Richard Grant was, because he played the Doctor online, and we're talking about me and my brothers before, not talking about acting, he never mentioned that to me. Never phoned me up, never said a word about that, just went and did it, yeah. Sneaky sod.
Yeah.
I thought that was really weird.
I've never liked him.
I never liked him.
What did Maggie Smith say about him when she won
that's
with
cruel.
West End? It's cruel, but it's got to be said.
What does she call him?
Richard who can't.
Richard E. Can't. That's what you call him. Richard E. Can't. Anyway, it's nice that we just sat here bitching today, haven't we?
You know what? Come back tomorrow because we'll have another go then, all right?